The thing is, thoughts swim around my head all day long, and they appear like flashes. They appear like they take me away, kind of like a dream. Images start to appear, and I start to and my emotions grab the scenes in which my brain is projecting. And then I sit down here to start talking, and there's like nothing that wants to be said. It's like before the camera and before the mic start rolling, it's like there's tons of just nonsense appearing in my own head throughout the morning and the day. And then the moment I sit down and I press record, it's just like this vast, empty chasm of silence or stillness. And I just sit, and then I watch what happens inside my body. It's like there's this anxiety or this tension that builds up. And then the thoughts of then I guess the thoughts that are happening now start to be expressed, which is there's nothing to say, no one to say it, nothing to say. And what is truly worth communicating? So welcome. We're going to talk through this, and I'm glad you found this video and you're interested in exploring some of these aspects of my own life. I've been listening to a lot of Sam Harris this morning, and I've got this idea, this thought, there's all these buzzword terms that we throw around in our culture, like transgender stuff, race stuff, cultural hot topics. Any court case that happens, like the one a few weeks ago about the kids that got into a scuffle and one of them sadly passed away, got stabbed. And, we all have these opinions, and we all have these thoughts about the world, or thoughts about our culture, and thoughts about what things mean. So when something happens, what it represents, or how I'm interpreting it, or how we're interpreting it collectively. And I was listening to Sam Harris talk through some of these things because he's waded into the waters of controversy. And I just had this, I guess, awareness that I don't actually know how real any of these things actually are experientially. Like I just, when we had the whole cancel culture thing, and then what Elon says about this or that, or what people say, like another one is like the video game industry, the AAA video game producers making DEI material that is basically, according to the Huff and Puff on Twitter, is destroying our video games, like making them not fun or enjoyable. And it's so weird that if you choose to pay attention to that stuff, that's how you start to believe the world is. If you allow the opinions and the perspectives and the thoughts of other people and the magnification of certain topics to land somewhere in the way that you perceive the world, if you allow that to occur, a worldview gets formed that I don't necessarily believe is rooted in reality or experiential understanding. It doesn't happen in our day-to-day experience. Like the other one too is like the guy that brought his daughter into the women's restroom, and because he didn't want to bring his daughter into the men's restroom. And then I guess some guy saw this happen, or a woman in there complained or something, and they called the cops, and he filmed the whole thing happening. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, do we just not have common sense? And also, why is this anybody's business? Why am I seeing this? Why are we having to address this as news for the day? It's just crazy. It's like, can we handle our own? Or can we just be reasonable people? But everything's so politicized, and everything's so you've got to there's a difference between what you experience in your day-to-day life and then what occurs on the internet. And because the internet is an ever-present feature of our day-to-day lives, it used to be 15, 20 years ago when I was playing EverQuest or World of Warcraft, it's like you sat at the computer to log on to the internet. But now it's like the internet is logging on to you. Like if you pick up your phone and you have to get on WhatsApp, you have to get on Discord. It's like the internet is now coalesced into some in some worldview that has to be accounted for. And I just don't think it needs to. I really don't think it needs to be accounted for. I mean, I'm watching this other guy on YouTube, and we touched on it. Hold on, I'm on a roll now. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you joined us. This is Inside the Mind's Eye, where we explore the introspective nature of reality, and I basically just talk about myself. So if you're here, I'm glad you're here. And I don't even know where I was going. Oh yeah, the guy that I was watching, this YouTube guy who's in the manosphere, he just put up like, I don't know, this is the other thing. You press something on your phone, you're going to get shown all that stuff. So like I had to like stay off of Facebook and like not mess with it for like 2 days because it only showed me terrible court cases of people that did terrible things and are in crap situations. And because our consciousness kind of leans towards drama, like I naturally, you see a car accident go by, you're going to look at it. I mean, it's just part of our nature. I don't know why it is. I could explore why it is. I don't want to think that deeply right now, but that's what happens. So if you're not aware of it or hip to it, you're just going to be commandeered by all this bullshit, for lack of a better word. It's just a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm now getting a lot of videos on my algorithm on YouTube of men talking to men about how women are it's like the feminist movement is a problem or something, and like men need to not be simps and all this nonsense. I mean, it's nonsense. And I'm reading this guy's post, and he like made this status post, and he's like, hey, just a heads up, I'll be having 4 videos a week now, and we're going live every week. So just give you a heads up, we're getting more traction. And I'm just like, damn, dude, like if we're not careful, we'll get sucked into belief systems and ways of perceiving ourselves in the world that are entirely unhelpful. They're useful in the sense that it gives somebody a space for their personhood or their ego or their identity or their sense of control or their sense of hierarchy to be established for themselves. And also for this guy specifically, I'm no psychologist, but he was hurt. So I think a lot of people, I don't know, I can't speak for a lot of people, but yeah, you go through some tough experiences. Your mind is going to come up with stuff to keep you feel somewhat safe, because when the rug gets pulled out from underneath you and you don't know what to believe in, and people that you thought cared about you start harming you. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm a sensitive boy. I don't think I've ever actively put myself in a position where that could occur because I've just been so scared my whole life. So I've got empathy. I got empathy for someone who develops defense mechanisms that appear in the form of, I am man, hear me roar, especially if they've been burned a lot, but it's not, it's just not helpful. And yeah, so I just don't think that the internet and our actual lives, the actual day-to-day of your experience, what is really happening in your day-to-day experience? You're waking up in a bed, you're looking at your phone, you may or may not be upset depending on what the phone decides to show you or whatever you clicked yesterday. You're peeing, you're going downstairs, you're getting ready, you're taking care of your animals if you got animals, you're taking care of your kids if you got kids, and you're strapping up and booting up to go to work. And then you put on your podcast and you're listening to whatever somebody is saying that is happening in the world that you should be aware of. But your world is happening right now, behind your eyes, in front of your face. Like it's happening in real time. It's not happening according to the reports that the social media or the internet ecosphere is downloading into your consciousness. So I just feel like it should be brought to awareness that if I'm not careful, I've got enough nonsense going on in my head. Like I'm driving around this morning, Eli's asking me about, one of the characters on his Despicable Me, Gru's dad, was in like a casket, and he's asking, as he always does, questions about life and death, mortality. By the way, he's special needs, so Down syndrome, autism, so he can't really speak full sentences, and he doesn't understand concepts too well. Like, he doesn't really, I don't think he really understands the future farther than like a week in advance. And then when memories or thoughts or ideas of what's going to occur happen, it's like he's living them now, which is what we do. He's basically just like us. It's just his ability to be completely present with what's going on is enhanced. He can drop whatever it is he's in and be right somewhere completely new very quick. When I first moved in with Melissa and him, and I used to just sit with him and watch him, and I would kind of do a meditation where I would just sit with him, be in his space. And I've done this with dogs too. I'll do random stuff with people. I'll just sit in a space and try to be where someone or something is. You can do it with trees too. You can sit in the backyard and just be like, okay, I'm going to allow these trees to breathe me, and I'm going to be the tree that's expressing itself as a person. But anyway, or be the energy that's causing the trees to grow as I grow. But anyway, so I'm sitting with Eli, and I started noticing that he is really, really, really in tune with what is happening. And I saw very quickly that this kid is like a baby Buddha, because and I think all kids can do this. They can show you where you are. Like, if I find that I'm like getting agitated, that he's not doing what I think he should be doing, that shows me where I am, because he's fine. Like, he's totally cool, and he's just a kid, and he's in the moment. And it's a mirror. It really is fascinating how the world, how people, how our kids, how other things can show us. And when I say show you where you are, it's like when I recognize that there's some discrepancy or some discomfort or some tension or some frustration arising within me, that shows me there's something that I'm not addressing or I haven't examined about what I think this is and how I think things should go. And I guess it's the best way to describe it is like my personhood or my ego or my whatever this thing is that feels like it needs to get somewhere or needs for something to occur for it to be okay becomes activated. And I know I noticed that this morning too, just watching Eli go to the bus. He won't walk straight to the bus. In my perfect world, I want him to go straight to the bus where it's safe. I don't want to see him wandering around. I'm afraid that he'll elope. I'm afraid, I just don't want bad things to happen. I'm a scared boy, as I said earlier. Like, I've got, like, and so I'm watching him, and I'm like, hold on, wait a second, bro. Like, you went out there and helped guide him to the bus yesterday because you were afraid he would wander off. Just cool your jets, watch what happens. Like, just let him experience some freedom in his life without me hovering over him, which I tend to do. It's an issue. Like, I'm so overly concerned about his safety that it's a problem. So just chill, bro. Let him see what he does. Just do it like you used to when you first moved into the house, before you onboarded the responsibility of parenthood and being a father, before that was completely crystallized. Just watch like you used to. And so I'm watching him, and he's wandering around. He walks down to the parking lot, back up the stairs, and he looks like he's waiting for somebody. And he's pacing a little bit. People are bringing their kids back and forth. They're passing. And then all of a sudden, this group of moms, about 3 moms and like 10 children, like 7 and younger, like the toddler kids, all start walking towards him. And his smile just beams, and he gets his whole body changes, and he gets so excited. And the lead mom is walking up the steps, and he runs over to her, and she gives him a big hug, and they give each other a hug. And he looks at the other little kids, and the little kids are waving at him, and he just folds into that 11 to 12 person toddler corral around these 3 moms, like a herd of little toddlers. And he's just dancing around, happy as a clam. He'll run and touch the mom's shoulder and just smile at her, and then give her like a shoulder hug. And then they just like he just had this amazing dance. It was like a dance or a play all the way to the bus. So yeah, I mean, he was just waiting for his friends. And I think there's so much in my life would behoove me to slow down. It would behoove me to like not go off the impulse of my emotion, not go off the impulse of my thought, but really allow myself to see where I am and be with where I am so something better or something interesting can take place. Because if I'm always trying to run the show, always trying to direct how things should go and keep everyone safe and contained and myself and everything the way I feel like it needs to be, I'm going to continue to be trapped in my own perspective, my own mind, my own tensions about who or what this is and how this needs to go. So, my last video was, do you got what it takes to take it easy? I think I'm still on it. I still need some more practice in this area. And the fact that we've got literally millions, trillions of things that can take your attention and make my fear sensors, make my sense of, I don't know, what I think is right. It's like playing on these moral and ethical processes that I have or we have, like, you should be mad about this or you should support this. And it's like, it's so hard to differentiate what's true and what's real from what's bullshit. And that I can't anymore lump it in the category the way I could when I was a kid, when I logged onto the internet and go, oh, that's just the internet. That's not real life. The internet is now integrated into our real life. So learning how to navigate this and how to move through it seems to be important. It seems to be an important aspect of our daily lives now. So yeah, something to look at, something to play around with, is what we're seeing, is what you're seeing on your phone really part of your practical day-to-day experience? Are these court cases and in these cultural hot topics about race or gender or politics or countries or nations, are these things really playing an active role in your day-to-day experience, moving and breathing and existing as a person with people around you or yourself? Like, are these thoughts or these ideas or these perspectives or these concepts about what the world is helping or hurting? And I don't know. I'm trying to look through it. To me, it's somewhat entertaining and it's also somewhat disturbing. And I've got enough going on in my own psyche that is asking for my attention that may or may not be worth attention, to also have to deal with all this stuff externally in the form of the internet, of whatever the issue of the day is, or whatever group I want to solidify as being a them. Like it's them, it's that, it's this. It's never me and like, where can I be better? Where can I grow? Like it's like that actually takes a little bit of work. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Just I wanted to get on and rip a talk, and I would like to have more regular. I'd like to put out more stuff regularly. Like I said, it's a toggle. I sit down here, and I don't have anything to say. I really don't think I have anything to say, and yet I'm speaking. Just another sidebar, just an addendum to this. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee, and I'll share a little bit about what it's been like the last few days personally, because what do I got? I got about 20 minutes. I got about 30 minutes until my first work meeting. So I started going, like I mentioned in the last video, I started going back to 12-step meetings, and somebody asked me to sponsor them. So I've been meeting with this guy. I met with him twice. I talked to him on the phone first, and then I've met with him twice to start going through the big book. And something curious happened yesterday that aligns with what me and Reed were talking about on our last episode of Effing the Ineffable, which is another thing. If you're just finding this, you can tune in. It's just me and Reed, space wizard extraordinaire, philosopher, hyper intellectual philosopher, and I just talk about whatever we got. And the topic was, today's solution is tomorrow's problem. And when I met with this guy yesterday to go through Bill's story, it was that was the truth. Whatever it was that happened that first meeting that went so well, and it was like we were flowing and we were getting to know each other, we were reading through stuff, and it was like I was just chopping through stuff. It was like things were getting said. I was in a state of just like, this is great. Like everything was like totally cool, organic. It felt like we'd gotten somewhere, and it felt like he understood something that he didn't understand before. And so when I got to this meeting yesterday, it was like whatever it was that had happened in that meeting before had somehow formed in my brain as some form of approach of how we're going to move now in regards to our relationship, in regards to recovery, in regards to his sobriety, and what it looks like and what we can do to continue growing. And that completely got smashed. What he was going through yesterday and where he was and what I learned in this conversation completely changed the way in which I need to approach our relationship and how I need to best support his path through his own recovery and sobriety. It was amazing how quickly it went from, because it was the first phone call, we were getting to know each other. The first meeting, it was like, here's who I am, here's how I do. And he was in alignment with this. And I was asking tons of questions about himself, and I was getting a sense of where we were at. And then yesterday it was like, okay, this is way more complex and way more nuanced than my mind and my thoughts and my beliefs would have it be. And so, yesterday's solution, what was it? Today's solution is tomorrow's problem. And I noticed it during the conversation when I went, okay, I need to lean back. I need to get back to where I was when we first started talking, which is get into a space of being present, ask questions, listen, and just allow the conversation to go where it needs to go, because it's about him and it's about his recovery and his path. You're just a happy appendage to be present for the process through the book, but that's it. You know, you can, and I can offer ideas, I can offer thoughts, I can ask questions, I can show things in different ways for him to look at, but by no means do I know what he needs. And after you have a couple of good meetings and it feels good helping people, you start to think you know what people need. And that happened to me. But I became aware of it. I'm aware of it now. I saw it after that meeting, and I was like, okay, we got through it. Everyone's okay. We got through the reading we need to get through. He's doing great. And we'll just keep chugging along. Another mirror, people will show you where you are if you're awake to it and you're hip to what's going on behind your eyes and what's going on in your heart. You can see these things. But yeah, so I've been going back pretty regularly to 12-step meetings. It's been great. It seems to slow down time for me because it is a less preferable experience, because I would much, and I don't like saying this. I've never liked saying this. But I'll say it now. I would much rather play Final Fantasy XI. I would much rather start watching Berserk, a show I need to watch. I watched the first episode. There's things I would quote unquote rather do, but taking an hour to sit in a chair for no reason other than just to be of service and to have something not be about me for an hour is so mentally and emotionally beneficial to my own state of being that I just need to do it for now. I wouldn't say need, because I can go with or without it, but right now, just for today, it seems to be a very useful use of my time, even when I have very limited time, where it's like, today I'll go to work, and if the day goes according somewhat to plan, I'll be able to get home from work, get Eli off the bus, and get everybody settled and be at an online meeting from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. before I have to start making dinner. And then Melissa will get home and we'll talk about the day and figure out the plans for tomorrow. And then I'll put Eli to bed. So there's not much time, but I think plugging in a meeting like that for me is just hyper beneficial. And it really slows everything else down in the sense that like the days feel more full. It doesn't feel like I'm in a dream so much anymore. Like where the images of movies, when you see like the calendar numbers and dates just like fall off the calendar, like click, 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 click. That's what it has felt like. But ever since I've been re-engaged with, steps and service and attending meetings, the clickers have kind of slowed down of the days, and things seem to be changing, and I'm having new experiences and growing in different ways that I wasn't before. So it's, when I say I would rather play Final Fantasy XI, that's not entirely true, because I would be playing Final Fantasy XI. I am actually playing Final Fantasy XI late at night, and it's been the best. It's been awesome. But yeah, getting re-engaged with this recovery stuff, I mean, I wish there was something like that for people that didn't have alcohol or drug abuse, or I wish there was something like that available for people that wanted to just sit in a chair for no reason and just share their experience and try to just listen to other people, whatever they're going through. It's so beneficial to the mind and the heart, I think, just to get out of our own heads, like get into something real. Like there's people that could use that just need us to listen, if we just sit there. That's so weird. I can do more good sitting in a chair listening to alcoholics talk about staying sober than I ever could learning about the war in Iran or I guess gender equality when it comes to restroom use. Like being sucked into a frustrating environment about what do you think you should do if you have a daughter that needs to pee and you don't want to go in the men's restroom? Like, I don't know how useful that actually is. But thanks for joining. This has been Inside the Mind's Eye, where we look at what's going on inside the mind's eye. And if you enjoyed it, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any questions, anything you'd like me to talk about or examine. I'd be happy to look at. And I'm going to try to get this one out quicker than the last one. The plan is I'm going to just let myself go. There'll be 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, who knows. One of my favorite guys on YouTube is this guy named Snokes. And I found him because he had a video that was like, I'm 35 years old and my life is like, I'm 35 years old and don't do what I did. And I've since seen videos like that, but they're all fall flat for me. This guy specifically, it felt true and honest. It felt like he was the linchpin that preceded all these other people making these types of videos. But for him, it was so real, so true, and so relatable. I've been following him ever since. And he does, he'll do these videos once a month or when he can. He struggles with talking too, but he'll sit here and just share his life. And I really enjoy it. It's a great time to just like sit and listen to someone else and what they're going through and how they're interfacing with the circumstances of their lives, moving, dealing with bills, work, getting a job, trying to find a job, working at the job, just day-to-day life experience type stuff. And, I'd like to be able to, I guess I'm taking some, plays from his book where, if that's what this is. Some days I'll have something I think that could be helpful. Other days it'll just be me talking about whatever it is that's going on. And I hope you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, that's okay. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I think I tried to end this probably 3 or 4 times already, and now we're finally doing it. But leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Anything else you'd like to explore? I'd be happy to look at it. Love, peace, chicken grease, John Leguizamo, the pest. And I hope you got what it takes to take it easy. The dude abides.